You're Near the Wild with Mat Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska.
Hello.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, John.
What is up?
Hey, that sounds really good.
Does it?
Should I just leave it at that? I shouldn't
I've
delve.
been working on it. I've been working on the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been going over the equipment, checking everything, and
yeah, making sure all my cables are good. Windscreen doesn't have any holes in it.
Wait, what do you mean?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, the windscrreen on the mic has no holes in it.
Hey, that brings me to our sponsor for today is this podcast sponsored by Shure Microphone. You know, the one every rock band uses. I didn't know this until just about 3 years ago. The workhorse of rock and roll is the SM58. It's the microphone. Anyone who's in a band knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And I've been using those since I started playing music in '97. About 3 or 4 years ago, I found out that if for any reason that SM58 or the SM57, you have any problems with it, you send it back to Shure, and they will either fix it for a small fee and return it, or they will send you a brand new one. And that's exactly what just happened to me. I had a microphone that I've had for, probably about 15 years. And it was, every time I touched it, I think it was with this podcast, I'd actually, was touching the microphone and it would give a small little buzz. And sometimes you'd hear it and sometimes you wouldn't. And I finally just sent it to them. I sent them $56, for, the service. And they just sent me a brand new microphone. And that thing was at least 15 years old. And I've had SM58s since I started playing music in bands, and that was back in '87. And I still have those microphones. Yeah. So this podcast sponsored by Shure Microphone against their will. But it's a great company.
That's almost like 20 years that you had that microphone. Going up on 20 years for a microphone that still only costs like $100.
The microphone, the SM58 and the 57 have been the same price as long as I've been buying microphones. And that's just, I even checked the price on Guitar Center's website in Sweetwater today just to make sure. And it is never pay over $99 for a SM58. And because it's for sale somewhere for $98 or $99. So I just want to say that. And also that's also the microphone that we use for Doug Stanhope's podcast is the Shure SM7B, which is a fantastic microphone. And that's I love them. Shure.com, go there, and if you want to look for the repair form, it's really easy to find. Google it, and Shure, we love you. All right, back to the podcast.
It's a tank.
It's a tank. Well, I tried to get in touch with Becker, and he just got into Costa Rica a day and a half ago.
Yeah.
So right now, the Devil's Scalene is kind of lopsided. Well, it's a straight line from me to you, John.
Yeah, we're missing two sides of the triangle.
Well, yeah. The Scalene is what we refer to the podcast when the Near the Wild podcast has Becker in Costa Rica, myself in Bisbee, and John holding down the bus in Anchorage, Alaska.
Beautiful Anchorage, Alaska.
Beautiful.
It's fucking cold as fuck, Greg.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, God, it's cold.
Wow, explain the cold, John. Let's hear it. Everyone's dying to know what it's like to be cold.
It feels colder than I've ever felt, which can't be true. But when I got up this morning, it was like 3 degrees. Like, why? What am I doing? What am I doing here? There's better places, right?
Yeah, there definitely is.
Alaska.
There are warmer places too, John.
I like Alaska. Is it worth the 3 degrees? Jesus Christ, though.
Yeah, it's cold. I think it dipped down into the 40s as we were driving back from Tucson yesterday at night.
That's cold too.
Yeah.
But so the real issue is my car, my Volvo, something is wrong with the heat when you put it on your feet. It doesn't work. like it hits your ankles, but not your feet. So it's like I've constantly had like frostbite on my toes for the last couple of weeks.
So it's blowing cold air, or it's not the direction of the air is not hitting your feet.
I don't think it's blowing any air, maybe. But I wish I think like blowing cold air would be better, because then my feet would just go numb quicker.
Then you wouldn't feel it at all. It's the vexing problem of having cold-ish air and not freezing air blowing on your feet.
So
that is a big problem. When I moved from Anchorage, Alaska, where I bought a Pathfinder, and I moved to Tampa, Florida, I realized that I didn't have air conditioning when I got about down to Texas. Because you buy a car in Anchorage and there's really no reason to have air conditioning, but there is a reason to have a heater. So you're at a deficit right now, John. Maybe you just throw the whole car away if the heater's not working.
Greg, I want to move somewhere where it is just like 75 degrees all the time. Does that place exist?
Yeah, it does. It's called California.
Oh, yeah.
But that's unlivable. You don't want to go to California.
Is that why everybody in the world lives there?
Yeah. It's actually pretty temperate down here, but we do get, since we're up at elevation in Bisbee at about 5,000 feet, we're considered the high desert, but it is cooler on average here in Bisbee than it is in Phoenix or Tempe or even Tucson. So it is it's actually a better average temperature here. I do remember. I just remembered when I've had a couple really shitty cars up in Anchorage. I had the Hearst at one time. I said Hearst. I meant hearse, or a coach, if you will. That didn't last long. And then I had a bunch of vans when we were traveling.
Everybody just started driving real slow behind you all
the
time?
it was a piece of shit, and I just couldn't keep it going. And then I was just always afraid it was going to break down somewhere, and then, get that thing towed. It just sucks. But I also had vans that I bought, and we would, the band would travel in two bands when we traveled to Kenai and Soldotna and Homer and Valdez and all that. So, and those were always different, like, interesting finds on the little nickel or whatever the auto trader or however we found them. But the number one vehicle that I had real problems with was when I had a truck that someone let me use when I first started working at K-Whale. I stopped being in the band. I was living above some a sales rep had a Fonzie apartment above her garage. Oh, yeah. So I had the Fonzie apartment where it's really it's a sloped roof, so I can just walk down the center. And I had my air mattress like up against where the slope of the roof hits the floor. So if you wanted
to get something on the other side of the room, you had to like get down on your knees.
Yeah,
and
really crawl over. Yeah. But I had a truck that someone let me use. I think it was Duran, the manager from Coots, got me the truck or something, and I was just using it. And this was in the winter, the dead of winter, kind of like where you're at now, John. And there was no floorboard below my feet in the truck, and I had about a 3-mile drive to the radio station. Wait, which radio? This was the end. This is when I worked at the end, not K-Whale. So it was about 99, right? And and I would get up in the morning at 4 and go down and start the car, and then I would take a shower, eat, get ready, probably do a little bit of show prep, and then get in the car, and it is still blowing cold air. I mean, the car would be warm, but there's no way of it heating up. And then I would be driving. I could see the ice on the road below my feet, and that was one of those. I got to figure out what am I doing here? Why can I just? There's got to be another way.
I saw my life going. I've heard on the slope they just leave their trucks running like all night long,
all the time. Yeah. Which is weird because
it's like negative 40.
Yeah, well, they can't let them. Well, there's a thing where if you rent a car in Anchorage, you're not supposed to take it up to Fairbanks unless you tell them. You can't just like go, hey, we're just going to tool around Anchorage, maybe Eagle River, and then cruise up to Fairbanks, because your car is not winterized for the weather up in Fairbanks, where it gets super cold. And if you do take it up there, you have to leave it plugged in on a block heater or something. And if they find out you went up there, then it could be a problem, because if you do stop the car, it will freeze up. And I knew a guy who worked at one of the rental agencies, and they had cars all the time that they'd go to start it and it just wouldn't go, and then they'd have to do this whole fucking thing. So that's John. How many more reasons do you need?
I had a Zuzu Hombre, which was a shitty little truck that I bought. I think I bought it for like $800. And one night, me and my older mate Stormo were driving, and it was like the coldest night of the year. I think it was like -10, and we were driving, and it just stopped. We had been driving for like 5 minutes, and the truck just stopped and refused to start again. and like we ended up like leaving it on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And couldn't start it for the next day. Went back to it, couldn't start it. Got it towed back to my house, and then I wasn't going to deal with that problem, so I put it up on Craigslist immediately. And some guy came, and like, I guess the pistons had like froze. There's something really wrong with it.
It seized? So it wasn't even the cold. It was probably, well, it might have been low on oil, and then you fucking ran it.
I think it was low on oil, because I'd had it for like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, and, you only owned it for 3 days?
Yeah. And like, but it's just like, so yeah, it was that Hombre. I good memories of the Zuzu Hombre.
Yeah, those 3 special magical days. That's like Barney Fife on Mayberry on the Andy Griffith Show. He bought a car from a dude, and he found out that the guy packed the transmission case with sawdust, and it would roll for a couple days, and then Barney was really perturbed at the outcome. I've
had great luck with cars.
I had a boat one time that I got like real cheap. Like,
you had a boat?
Yeah, I had a boat in Seattle. Well, it was a glass bar, and it was a really cool old fiberglass boat. And I
didn't know I was talking to the richest guy I know.
Oh, dude, wait till you! I have made so many mistakes with buying things where I should have just put it in the bank, or just thrown a party for my friends would have been more fun than dealing with the RVs that I've had and the boat. The boat, I was on this trail, and someone that lives on the water, Lake Washington, had this boat. It just had a sign on it, and it looked fucking great, and the upholstery was brand new on it. I talked to the guy, and his dad was like declining in health, and they got like downsizing a bunch of stuff. He had the original, like the receipt for the trailer and the boat from his dad. He bought it in like the 60s, and this was their boat, and he just got the upholstery redone on the seats. And it was a canvas top one that the canvas was great, and then it had these seats that were back to back, right? So 4 people sat in it, right? And I go, well, I don't have a lot of money. I didn't even have a fucking hitch to pull this thing, right? And he basically said, all right, I'll tell you what, just give me the money that I paid to get the seats reupholstered. So I bought a boat and a trailer for like $232.86 or something. It was fucking ridiculous.
Best investment you ever made.
Oh my God, I sunk so much fucking money into that thing. and
so weird that he was willing to give up that boat for such a low price.
Well, he did say that like, I haven't run it for 2 seasons because I haven't been here, and now that I'm here, I'm trying to get my dad out of this house, and we're going to do this. But I knew a guy in Bellevue, and I got a hitch at U-Haul. They installed it, and I went and I took it, not knowing how to fucking back up a trailer or even what I'm fucking doing, right? And I took this fucking boat on a trailer that I didn't know how it was working, and I went across the bridge from where I was in Lake Union over to Bellevue on a bridge. It's 2 lanes in each direction. Oh, and I get to Bellevue, and the guy's all, "You fucking drove that here?" He goes, this thing's not, like, this should not be on the road. He's telling me all these fucking horrible things, but I'm like, but I'm here. I fucking made it, dude. But it was, the bearings were shot. I'm lucky the wheels didn't just fall off the thing.
You should have been like, we are talking on the west coast of North America. Europeans weren't supposed to be here, but we made it.
Yeah, come on, man.
You should have seen the trailers they brought.
The money that I spent, it was for the powerhouse. It was the throttle that goes back and forth. He fixed it. He repaired it because it was all. I mean, this was it was a good looking boat. Everything wasn't damaged. It wasn't like those pieces of shits you see in people's yards. He fixed that up. The motor was fine, but I didn't know how to take care of a fucking motor. It was an outboard motor. There's a lot of shit you're supposed to do, John. Turns out. And
so did you have dreams of becoming like a shrimp fisherman or a guide or something?
No, I imagined fucking cruising around on a boat, just in the fucking in the low traffic area. I didn't want to be near people. I just thought it'd be cool, and it was only going to cost me. Now we're at about $1,200 because they did the work on the top end of the engine, and then they did the powerhouse, and then it cost me it cost me more to fix the trailer that I damaged by running the bearings. They're all fucked up for me driving. And then, I mean, I was probably into this thing about $2.5 grand. Finally, when I got it on the water, my buddy Lee's house, his parents had a slip and an access point next to their house. Mm-hmm. Get it out there, and we're fucking cruising. It's me and my buddy Leaf, and we're just cruising down, and then all of a sudden, smoke everywhere. I was on that boat for maybe 30 minutes tops, and now I've gotten, instead of just cruising in circles like I should have done, that was one of the mistakes. Instead of just cruising in circles in front of his house where I could have swam to shore if there was a problem, I took it as far away from his fucking house as possible. And then we couldn't get it going because the powerhouse stuck and I couldn't get it back. So I couldn't start it. I couldn't get it in neutral. And then I would go, let me get the tools. Left the tools in the truck back at the house.
Oh no.
So we floated till we got close to the shore. And then I jumped out and then pulled the boat up to it was rocks and stuff, but I just got it close enough. Leaf stayed on there, and I ran to a place that I was actually working as a volunteer that was about a mile away at the Lake Union Boat Center or something. And I had to explain to them that I actually worked there. Now I'm out of breath. I'm like, can I borrow a screwdriver? And they're like, we don't give out tools. I work here. And they're like, I don't know you. And this whole thing. I get back.
Well, I'm a volunteer, but it's like
a volunteer. But I just need that, that dollar screwdriver. I go back and we fiddle with it, and I get it going. I'm gonna fucking go all out and just get back north. And I'm a couple miles away, and we get just about maybe an eighth of the way there, and then the engine just smoke everywhere. It's done, and I was right in front of another friend's house who someone towed us to my friend's dock, waited there, and Leaf went and got his parents' boat, pulled it pulled me back to his folks' house where we pushed it onto the trailer, and I got it out of there. But the only picture I have of me in that boat is when I had a camera and I did a selfie, and I framed it so you could see that there's a wake behind me, but that's me being pulled through the water. I didn't even get a picture of me actually piloting the boat. And I just took it so you couldn't see that I was actually in distress. Yeah,
life on the high seas.
I ended up giving that boat away to a guy named Bill in Seattle that I worked with. It was like the day before I was leaving for Tampa, and I just gave it away. Ugh,
damn,
that was a great boat.
I think I've definitely told the story on the podcast before when Stephanie and I went down to Newport Beach, and she really wanted to rent a boat.
I remember you saying this, but I wanted to ask you: was this the Back Bay area, or were you out on the ocean?
It was, we were in the harbor, but because I guess you could take it out on the ocean, but there was big waves that day, so they weren't letting anybody go out of the harbor. Where you like that whole Back Bay area is really fucking awesome. It's like $1 million homes and yachts and everything. So we were just like cruising by by all those homes and the like yachts that were tied up there. I think that's the area.
Yeah, it totally is.
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, it's gonna be paperwork, and they're gonna have to like teach me how to drive a boat. It's like I was expecting this like whole big thing, but then we got there, and the guy was like, yeah, $25, 2 hours, and then we pointed at the boat, and then we left, and that was it. There was not like have you ever been in a boat? You have any idea how boats work?
Yeah, I guess you just grab the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, I guess. And you just push forward on the throttle and you go.
It's really alarming how accessible getting a boat and getting on the water is. Just, if you have the inclination, you can just go and do it. I mean, that really is.
It seems so dangerous. It was fun. I really did not want to do it, but it was like the most fun we had on that trip.
Well, I took sailing lessons down in Renton from a guy who had all these little boats.
Dude, you're so posh. Greg, I had no idea you were such a yuppie.
Well, I was looking for things to do. I was really discovering myself, John. This was an adventure.
You're just getting in touch with your waspy roots.
But I learned how to sail. And it was a lot of fun, and that's why I got interested in the boat. And then when I fucking got a boat and a trailer for $200 and some dollars, right? So that was great. The only problem is I should have fucking that should have been like, no, it's going to cost me a couple of grand. So why don't I just get a new powerhouse and get a smaller engine, just a fucking tiny engine on the back. Right. And just and do that. Instead, I fucking chased the dragon, getting this motherfucker, try to get it up and running because I had a really powerful old motor on the back and this old antique I just fucking wasted so much time and effort that I was just sick of it at that point. I mean, I spent more time sitting in it drinking beers in the driveway at the place I was renting than it ever touched water.
Isn't that the best way to use a boat? Because you don't have to fucking scrape barnacles off of it after that. Just sit in the driveway.
But see, that's all the things. I don't even know. I didn't even try to understand what you have to do to maintenance, right? I've seen a guy put a hose on the engine and run it in his backyard, but I didn't know what you're supposed to do, and I just kind of went through the motor. Maybe I fucked it up when I did that. I don't fucking know. That was. I still look at boats. I see those boats every once in a while, or I see a small little a two banger, and I'm like, man, that would be so fucking cool. And I'm like, how stupid are you, Chaille? you go rent a boat with John for $25 and get sick of it, throw up over the side like you're gonna do anyway, and then fucking get a ride home. But
are there any lakes near you?
Yeah, there are up here, actually. And the thing is there's tons of boats and yards out here. That's the fucking dangerous thing. It's the siren call. You see these boats all the time.
I think you belong on the water.
I totally belong on the water, John. I actually was that when I had ambition, I was actually going to school to my thing was going to be marine biology. That was it. I guess why I got into diving and that boat was my next step, John.
It's not too late.
No, I know. That's the fucking problem.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
As long as you keep producing this podcast, I give you my full blessing. Get out there.
Well, right now, what I want to do is I want to get a camper van, but not like an RV type, but like a van. That's there's a Dodge called the Roadtrek. I've been looking on Craigslist for those because they've got everything in there that you can actually get out on the road for a while, and that's what I'm obsessed with right now.
Dodge Roadtrek.
It's I think Dodge and I think Ford licensed the design. So what they do is they have the design and then they'll put it on a Dodge chassis and then they'll put it on a Ford or a Chevy or something. But
Class B motorhome.
Class B motorhome. You can get some that are about $8,000 or $9,000 if they're they got a little time on them and there's mileage on them. But then you get to the ones the recent ones and they're like $80,000 to $120,000 for the last 5 years. Those models, but they're like a fucking mini motorhome.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now and it looks very romantic. There's an older couple, sitting in some camping chairs in front, drinking a glass of wine, blanket over their laps.
Sure, that's me and Tracy.
I can't see the girl's hand.
Yeah, that's it. We're hitting the road. Hand jobs and sangria. Woohoo!
The Roadtrek looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, the problem is that is that we spend a lot of time on the road in the Suburban with Doug, and I get back to the hotel and I start looking locally, and there's a lot of fucking road treks on the East Coast and Florida, and it's there. Fuck. This is my new boat, or my new fucking obsession, that I got to do it. And I can't scratch this itch, John, until I spend 10 grand on a fucking road trek. And the problem is, this is the other thing. There's one 6 houses down from where we live that I drive by 5 times a day. Every fucking day. And he's got that fucking map on the side where he's put a sticker of the shape of every state he's been in. And it's all covered on like 80% of the fucking state, or 80% of the nation is covered. God damn it. I should have that. I should be peeling those stickers off and putting them back on.
I mean, have you shopped around for an old motorhome?
No, because I had a motorhome that someone gave me. Never, here's John, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Never receive a free motorhome, especially one that doesn't start.
Good tip.
I had a motorhome.
But when it breaks down, it just becomes a home, right?
Yeah, the problem is that I drove it. I didn't have a place that I could actually put it when I lived in Anchorage this last time around. So I asked Duran, I go, hey, can I park this at the Coots parking lot? They've got an acre there. So I said, I'll just put it off to the side. Not a problem. And I'll get it working, and then I'll get it out of there. And he's like, yeah. In fact, he and I were kind of co-owning it. Misery loves company. And, then the snow fell, still not started. I had a shade tree mechanic that was working on it, and but he was doing everything. The fucking gas tank was full of fucking rust, but he did everything to get all these other things going. And I think I drove it from the parking lot to this guy's place that was down Spenard, and then we drove it back, and it conked after he spent all this money working on it. He was with me in the car, and there was a gas smell. The fucking line popped off, and then it was something wrong with the gas tank. It was just kept sucking up. I bought a case of fuel filters. That was the way we were going to fix this. Every time it was going to fucking fill up with rust, we just fucking put another filter on instead of putting a new fucking gas tank on there. You can buy those, you know. And then it went back to Coots. I got it towed, and then it went to a lot where I paid for it to sit for 2 years, and then I finally put it in Craigslist. I'm up around $3,000 now on this one, this free motorhome that never went anywhere, and that ended up going. Someone came from the valley, and I said, "You tow it," and I gave it to him for nothing, like a couple $100. And I remember this sat at the lot. It sat for 2 years without moving, right? Which they love that at those lots. They all they're doing is collecting money. It's $80 a month, right? For 2 years. Finally, this couple come, and this guy.
That's another motorhome.
Another motorhome. Exactly. So then, and that's not the money that I sunk into it with this guy fucking with it, right? So I sell this, and this guy puts this. He fucking did this whole deal where he put it up on this like these wheels that go under the front wheels. And he did the whole fucking thing while I'm sitting in my warm car. He's got this come along, and he's like pulling it up on there, all doing it by himself. And then I hear his wife, who's in back of the motorhome, like looking around going, "Uh-oh, looks like we have mice." Oh, great. They're not going to buy it. But they're from the valley. They didn't give a shit. There were fucking mice. There were mice in there. That's exactly what they said. "Oh, my cat's going to love this." Wow. When life gives you lemons, man. So, yeah, they ended up driving that thing off. That was a problem. Yeah, no motorhomes, John. That's why I'm looking at the Class B, the Roadtrek. Yeah,
Roadtrek seems a lot more reliable. It looks faster. I don't know if it is.
No, they're slow. But it does. But that's you're not going for speed. This isn't Around the World in 80 Days or Cannonball Run.
I go for speed when I travel.
Yeah, I know. You and your hombre.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that thing with the dresser that fell on the twins? You see that clip?
I did see that.
Did I tell that story about my twin brother and I? When we were about those kids' age, first of all, that fucking dresser was it 3-drawer?
Yeah,
it's no big deal. When I was that age, my brother and I were doing the exact same thing. We were crawling up, and we had I think a 4-drawer oak dresser, not one of these fucking pressboard fucking IKEA jobbers, right, with legs.
Sure.
This thing was flat. This was flat on the ground. It didn't have any leg extensions, anything. But the bottom drawer had a door on it. Like you pull it out and then you lift the door up. And then I don't know what the purpose of that was, but we could we could stand on that closed like hatch, right? And then we would pull out the next one a little bit and then step on that and go up. And that's exactly what we did. And my mom, we were in our bedroom climbing fucking Mount Oakrest, and my mom heard a crash. She came in and she says all she saw was 2 sets of legs wiggling from underneath. This entire dresser had just fallen over on us. So it happens.
You needed another brother to lift it up.
My mom did it. She says I can't believe I lifted that, because you got a problem there, because you got these drawers that are already kind of half out if they're not squashing our melons, and then as you push it up, you've got to keep those closed or they're just going to fall out.
Yeah.
You know, it's really funny because my mom, my brother and I were the firstborn in the family, and every story that she would tell to people at get-togethers and stuff, it always started with her leaving us in a room alone.
I couldn't take it anymore. I had to leave.
No, it's like, wouldn't you just stop leaving the room or just bring us with you? She had a classic story of us out and back in Southern California, and her leaving to go inside real quick, came back out, and we had grabbed handfuls of snails and had started eating the snails. She said there were shells and like the gooey junk all over our faces. Because she left.
So cultured. Great. This whole episode has been about how classy and upper crust you are.
Oh yeah, continental.
Eating escargot when you were a kid.
That was my mom's cute little thing. Who knew that they liked escargot? She would always, and then, oh man, this was the worst. She would once again. We had one of those, those horses that you sit on, and it's got 4 springs in the corners, one in each corner, and you kind of bounce around on it.
Those things.
Yeah, we had one. We had a classic one. It was like a vinyl horse, and it was big, right? I totally remember this thing, and
if you get your finger caught in one of the springs, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pinched. You get it pinched. Well, my mom and dad had this wall of photos when we were kids, and she always had stories when we brought a date over or someone came over, a friend, and she would tell these. And she reserved this one for special occasions. There was a picture of one of either my brother or I on the horse, with one hand on like the handlebar and a hand like cute waving, right? But then my mom would go into the story of like, well, the one time I left them alone, I walked out of the room and they had reached back into their filled diapers and had smeared feces all over the horse. And she came back in to this horse just with a finger feces all over it. And I'm like, Mom, this is the first date. You didn't have to go into such detail in this one.
Right into the shit stories.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
They wanted the horse to smell more barnyard.
We need more barnyard.
Jesus.
So I saw that clip, and
that video's funny because like the one kid just sits there for a while, like I don't know, and then he crawls over the dresser that's on top of his brother. So I think I just like watching a kid like learn how to problem solve. He's like, nope, don't get on top of it. That doesn't help.
The dresser was empty. What the? Why do you have a dresser that's empty?
I think it was set up. Like, where are the parents?
How could John? Listen, how can you set up what infants are going to do in that room?
I mean, they train rats.
They do. Pizza Rat.
Yeah, Pizza Rat was trained.
I don't buy. Listen. I'm telling you right now.
Where's the videos, Greg? I think there's hours and hours of video of dressers not falling on kids till they finally got it right.
But I'm telling you, I have a personal experience where if you leave a kid or two kids in a room, with a dresser, sooner or later they're going. Wasn't there something? I think there was a monitor. There was something on top of the dresser.
Yeah,
that
was
was
like
the
a baby
only
monitor on top, and there's no sound. So who's to say the mom wasn't talking into the other monitor saying, climb up and get mommy.
Come on, up here, cookie.
I'm just saying, everybody wants to get famous. Yeah. They want those YouTube hits.
No, I get it, John. I get it.
But then the video gets jacked and reposted by a million other people and you don't make any money.
But I saw him on like the Today Show or one of these things. It's like, what are you going to fucking say to this couple? Right? They got the kids there. Like,
watch your fucking kids.
Well, it's like I get it. You left them in there and you left the camera on. Okay. But these things happen. But why do you have to? What's the discussion with the parents? What do you have to say to them? Wow, that was crazy. What did you think?
Right,
what did you think when you saw the video? Exactly.
Here's a surprise guest. It's child services taking your kids away right now. These parents, I'm sure they're great parents.
I don't know. It just seems like you're right. Everyone wants to be famous and they want to get on TV, and all you got to do is look at the reality shows and see what happens with all of these things, with all these people. What happens after the cameras go dark? Yeah. Run for Z Hills. I remember Coots. We would get offers from production companies when I was working promotions. They'd want to speak to someone regarding having a meeting or a pitch to do a show at Coots. And I mean, it was a couple years, and I told Duran, I go, hey, Duran, I just want you to know, I field these calls. I mean, I've told the people at the bar, those calls are for me, and I tell them fucking no. I say, not interested, and I'm polite, but I fucking hang up. And he goes, oh, good. I go, yeah, I get a couple here and there, and they have great ideas and they want to do it. But I love the mystery of going to a bar where you don't have a fucking camera in your face.
Yeah.
It's too much, man.
What blows my mind about those reality shows, the ones like Alaska State Troopers and stuff, like those people have to sign release forms.
Yeah.
It's like when you get arrested and make an ass of yourself on a show like that, then you sign a release form.
Yeah, and they can't be drunk when they sign it. They have to. I mean, you have to explain it to them. But this is one of the things when Doug did the when cameras attack or something. He did a Fox hidden camera show a long time ago. There's clips online. I think I've put some on here or on the Doug Stanhope podcast. I think I put some clips. They're on YouTube. You should check it out. It is funny. And the guy they worked with, they worked great together, and they did some fucking crazy shit. But they would get a girl to, I think they had Alicia Wood. She's a comic and originally from Seattle. She's in New York now, but she was the one who would approach the people who got duped, and she'd be laughing and they would get buttered up, and then it was so great. You were such a good sport, and they'll talk you into it to get you to sign. So there's a trick in that too, John.
Man. God, the world is just so... You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody, Greg.
Yeah, I'm trying not to talk about the Brown family because that season just started again. Alaska Bush people.
I've still not seen an episode.
Don't even buy anything that advertises on that fucking show. They're such shit bags.
All right.
I can't talk about it. Yeah. Hey, what do you think about that bed tent?
The bed tent looks pretty handy, especially if you live in a place like Bisbee where poisonous caterpillars could fall on your face.
That's true. The tussock moth. I don't know.
Is that what your plan is for the bed tent?
No, I looked at this thing and I saw the bed in there with a pillow and the it's like raised off the ground, and then it's a big enclosure. You know what it looks like? It looks like a a sensory deprivation tank without the water. And there's a bed in there, and it looks kick-ass. But then I look down, you don't get any of that stuff. All you get is the fucking enclosure. You don't get the mattress. You don't get the pillow. You don't get the stand that you get. I mean, you're going to be down in, well, here's another RV for Chaille. I'm going to get one of these things, and I'm going to spend another $500 for a bed and a fucking frame. But I like the idea.
You know, I think waking up in a tent is one of the worst things in the world.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just like fucking hot, and like all the condensation is in there from breathing there all night.
You're doing it wrong, John.
I mean, I like camping, but it's like when you wake up and you're like, oh fuck, I'm in a tent and it's hot and gross.
But see, yeah, you're on the ground, probably on an air mattress or less.
Not in a real bed.
No, but see, that's the thing. You can go to Big Five or Dick's Sporting Goods or something. Cabela's, I'm sure, has it. You can get like a cot that will be up off the ground, and you can even buy an air mattress that is on legs that you just like pull it out of the bag, open it up, turn on the blower, get that thing going, and now you're up off the ground in a comfortable bed.
Huh.
That's the beauty of this.
I usually just build a shelter out of driftwood and animal hides and create a bed out of
rake leaves up on the side.
Leaves. Whatever's left of the animal I didn't eat. Sleep on that. Protect it.
That reminds me, we were talking a couple weeks ago about the YouTube clips of survivalists and these guys making mud huts and stuff like that, and we don't know where he was.
The shrimp
making
trap.
Making a shrimp trap. My new thing is street food vendors in foreign countries.
Oh yeah, there's good ones.
Fucker, I don't.
They're good, but then if you watch enough of them though, you see all the same tricks.
Yes, the Turkish guy or the Greek guy with the ice cream cone.
Yeah,
where he pulls it away. It's down to a fucking art.
Is there a school?
There's gotta be.
Are they all just learning this from YouTube?
Well, I mean, it takes time.
And how many people get their ice cream just like knocked out of their hand before they finally get it?
It is fucking hilarious.
I want to see those videos where he like goes to like grab the ice cream back from the cone and it just goes on the ground. And
you want to see
another one?
You want to see the guy's first day on the job?
Yeah.
After training.
He's just fucking ice cream everywhere on the walls, on the ceiling.
Or you just hand it right to him. Look, my boss ain't around. Just fucking take it. Beat it.
I've wasted 5 gallons of ice cream today.
I'm sorry, I'm out of ice cream. I can do the trick.
Good ice cream.
I can do the trick with just the cone, but it just doesn't work. Yeah. It's not the same. Go over there and get some ice cream and come back, and I'll tease you with it.
Yeah, I can. I'll play the spoons while you eat your ice cream, and that's something.
But when they go, someone takes a video camera and cruises around these open markets, like in Vietnam and shit. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I
like watching the one. There's one I saw from Mexico that wasn't even like a person doing tricks. It was just like the sheer amount of like corn and like sour cream they used. That was like interesting in the video. They just kept putting on layers and layers of corn and sour cream. Like you thought it would stop, and then it just kept going.
Well, I'm always fascinated with the fact that see, I'm looking a little deeper, John. I'm looking for a hand wash station, maybe a sponge in a bleach water. Hey, how about this? A pail of water. I see is like condiments that are being sprayed into the cauldron or whatever, and they're all used water bottles. They've just poked a hole in the lid, and then they've refilled it with I don't know, fucking soy sauce or some kind of fucking chili powder. I mean, these are granted. I go pretty deep on the. I watch the ones in India.
Yeah,
I don't. There's a guy who sends us Bibles. His name's Bill Nash from Nash Guitars, and he was just in India, and I'm like, why the fuck are you going there? What's there? It doesn't. I know it's probably a beautiful place, but it just seems all the pictures I see. It just looks just overcrowded, and you're going to die in the street. Someone's going to hit you in one of them 3-wheeled cycles or something.
Yeah. my best friend's married to an Indian. Actually, she's American, but she's of Indian descent. She has a lot of family in India, so they go to India. They've been a couple times.
Yeah.
And I guess the trick is to just load up on Imodium.
It's going to happen.
They said, as many times as she's been there, their whole family's been there, she said, no matter what you eat, you will get explosive diarrhea. You need to just, it's better to be blocked up for a week.
Eat a block of cheese before you get on the plane?
Yeah.
John, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think you're like me, that when you go to these places, you will eat off the carts.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll eat something off the fucking street, Greg.
Yeah.
If somebody points at something that fell on the ground, they're like, "This is our custom food. It's very delicious. I'll eat it."
Yeah, I've always been that way. I've always that. Come on, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And sometimes I'll get the fucking turista, But I just saw a documentary, Morgan Spurlock, and it was about rats.
Oh, I've heard about it. I haven't watched that yet.
Dude.
Is that on Netflix?
Yes, they do it.
Right.
It's either Netflix or Amazon. I can't keep track of what I watch now because I bounce around from one to the other. But it's Morgan Spurlock. It's rats. He oh my God. They do this thing where they're doing a study in Louisiana, and these kids are out in the fields working, for the university, and they're collecting these rats, and then they're bringing them, and they're doing these necropsies, and they're pulling these fucking worms or these parasites out of the livers of these rats, right? And they all have them. And they've just got these crazy fucking things in their system. And then someone will get on it and tell you what's really going on, how many things are in there. Then cut to a third world country where they are preparing rat, and they show everyone at a disco, an open air disco, eating this fucking fried rat.
Oh.
And I'm just that's the thing. I couldn't do that.
You wouldn't eat a rat? Would you have eaten rat before you saw this documentary?
I might have. I'll be honest with you.
If it looked good and you'd had enough to drink?
If it's not too salty, I'll probably eat it. But see, this
I think Dennis Leary has the line in Demolition Man. Maybe it's not Dennis Leary. Somebody says, "I don't care if rat tastes like motherfucking pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know because I ain't eating it."
Yeah, I worked at right out of high school in Southern California. I worked at a nursery, a landscape nursery. It's a huge place, and there was a place in the back called the canning pile, and we had a lot of Mexican guys that worked the canning pile, and some of them lived on trailers in the back of the property, right? And at lunchtime, at noon, everyone would get on a tractor on the trailer, and they would drive to where the trailers were, the RV airstreams that they were living in, and they would all eat lunch back there from 12 to 1. And one day we would go back there, and we'd have takeout or whatever we'd be eating, and I would ask the manager, Martine, I'd go, what are they eating? And he'd go, they eat sometimes what they catch here, and sometimes, they bring something, squirrel, a possum. And then this day I was actually eating a plate from the trailer. It was really good. I think the hominy, and there was a meat in there. And as I'm eating it, I go, who would eat possum? I would never eat possum. And he looks at me and goes, are you so sure? How do you know you're not eating possum right now? Their job was to kill any rodents and rabbits, and there was a bounty on rabbits, so they fucking ate whatever they got. And so did I, until,
I just remembered the rat may taste like pumpkin pie. That's from Pulp Fiction, not Demolition Man. Almost the same movie. Almost the same movie, though.
That sounds like that would be either John Travolta or the other fellow.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, there's some rat thing in Demolition Man. I'll look it up.
Well, yeah, please.
This is important.
Well, John, any news in Anchorage? I know it's cold.
I don't know if there's really any news. I mean, we're just trying to get our lives together. I read today about a legal weed shortage. So like, there's not enough legal weed to go around.
Is there ever enough weed to go around?
I guess not. I still have not smoked any of the legal weed that I bought. Probably won't. It's just hanging out. So I guess I'm not part of the problem.
No, you're part of the solution, John. You're a job creator.
Yeah. What else did I read today? I guess, do you read about Sears? I guess Sears is like shutting down a whole shitload of stores.
They always, they put Sears and Kmart together. Are they owned by the same company?
I think they're the same company now. And I read the thing and they're like, Sears is going to shut down 150 stores. Like 110 of them are Kmart's. Like, that's not what the headline said. Kmart and Sears are different. But I guess we're keeping our Sears. For good or bad, I don't know.
You know, I went into a Sears in Sierra Vista out here, and it looked like it was closing down anyway. They were open for business, but you would go like I was in the tool section because they got good tools at Sears.
And they're like guaranteed for life.
Yeah, so I meander in the back there, and there's like whole sections where there's no product displayed. There's nothing. It's like I was shopping in Russia or something. I mean, you can't hide that. You can't hide like 30 feet of premium wall space with no product. That's kind of a red flag.
There's like one ratchet set sitting on an empty shelf for sale.
I don't remember.
I worked in a Sears when I lived in California for a little while. I worked in the warehouse of a Sears for like 6 months. And
like stocking shelves or unloading container trucks that came in, or what did you run the forklift?
Yeah, unloading container trucks, and like if somebody bought a big item, like bringing it out to their car and stuff.
You were the one who has to hump it out there?
Yeah, because I'm fucking huge.
Yeah.
I'm the strongest person you know, Greg. So it was like me and like a bunch of big Samoan dudes. And obviously I can't lift anything, so I just hung out mostly.
You just made sure you stayed out of the way.
Yeah. I just reminded everybody to lift their legs.
And the guy from Tonga basically lifts the couch by himself.
Yeah.
Move
it. You got it. All right, you got it.
Yeah, there you go. Set it down. You're micromanaging him lifting a couch by himself all the way out to someone's truck.
Oh, man. Good job. You bringing any of that macaroni salad for lunch?
Oh, it's the best.
It's the best.
Hawaiian plate lunch with the macaroni salad. You got a place in Anchorage there up off of Fireweed. Is it Houlihan's?
Yeah.
It's Houlihan's. Oh, that place is so good. Didn't they have a second location out in Mountain View?
I think so. I don't know if they still do.
I think they moved.
To the one on Fireweed.
They moved to the one on Fireweed. That place is so good. I get the ribs. Oh man. Yeah, it's hard to find a good macaroni salad unless it's a Pacific Islander influenced menu.
Yeah, otherwise it's just macaroni and mayonnaise.
Yeah, they do something. I don't know. Maybe there's a spice in there, John. Hey, John, speaking of eating tons of macaroni salad, I saw you in that video for Turquoise Boy.
Oh, yeah. He's Fat John walking around getting his heart broken.
Yeah, I don't want to tip anyone off. I want everyone to watch it, so I'll put a link on the show notes so you can watch John in his in front of the camera. Did you have anything to do with the behind the scenes, or did just a buddy call you up?
No, I made it a point not to help at all.
Yeah,
because I get like I'm a real asshole when I start helping because I feel like I know the best way to do things and I don't. So I just shut up and did what my friend Justin, who directed the video, told me to do, and it turned out pretty well. It turned out great.
I thought it was good. I like Turquoise Boy. They're
a good band.
Yeah.
They're a great local band.
Mm-hmm.
And
Winston.
That whole album's really good, and I forgot the name of the album that has the song Christmas Lights, but it's on Spotify and it's pretty decent.
We'll put a little bit of it. We'll put the links on there, and anything else you can check out. Turquoise Boy, a local Anchorage band.
Yep. And I am down 5 pounds since we shot that video a couple weeks ago.
And what do you couple weeks?
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to, John?
I've been eating a low carb diet, cutting my carbs, I'm doing the like Tim Ferriss slow carb diet thing. He wrote about it in a book, so it means it's real and it's not going to kill me, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that I lose a lot of weight and I get to eat shitty junk food once a week. So it's been good. It's been working.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of eggs and a lot of frozen vegetables. So
all right.
I guess I've been going to the gym too. I've just been living a healthy lifestyle, and I was.
But
I was so. Oh, what did you do for New Year's?
What did I do?
Let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did first.
I want to hear what you did because I'll tell you right now, I did nothing.
So we went to Stephanie's parents' house out in Eagle River because we're old now and we didn't want to go deal with like lots of people. But I just treated it like a regular New Year's and got shit faced. Her dad was making Cosmos, which I don't usually drink, but I was like, if you're making them, I'm drinking them. And so I don't know if you know this, but Cosmos are basically just fucking sugar and vodka.
It's basically a cranberry martini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't ready for that. 'Cause after drinking a bunch of Cosmos and beers and some champagne, of course, I had the first great hangover of 2017 on New Year's Day.
Yeah, and bloaty, I would imagine, before the night was over. Yeah.
And so, like on the way home from Eagle River the next morning, I had to make Stephanie stop the car so I could throw up. And that's always a good reminder that she picked the right life partner.
Yeah, yeah.
When I can't make it like 15 minutes home without throwing up.
I buy boats. She dates you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So I've been. I think I'm doing dry January now, just to lower my tolerance a bit so that I can handle my hangovers again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So and it's also helped me lose some weight.
It definitely. Well, yeah, those are empty calories when you're boozing it up.
Yeah.
Well,
they say empty, but like, I don't know. I never have as much fun when I'm eating a piece of cake.
I don't feel empty.
Yeah, I feel very confident and fulfilled when I'm drinking.
Well, on New Year's, I just remembered I did do something. We watched Star Trek marathon for I think on the 30th on
TNG
on
Next Generation.
No, this was the original Star Trek from 66, 67, 68, I think. Yeah, they were just playing them all in a row for like 3 days, and we started watching those, and then on New Year's, right about we were having a couple cocktails, and right about the time you would put on the party hats and get ready to blow the horns and those little ratchet things. I looked at Trace and I go, "Hey, let's go see if we can find some javelina."
Oh yeah.
So we drove like all the way around like the Warren and Vista Park. That's like kind of the neighborhood we're in. But it's like about, if you go all the way around it, it's probably about 3 miles. So we drove from our driveway all the way around and then came all the way around back and did this whole loop. And then we've got flashlights. We've got those fucking crazy little flashlights that throw a really good beam. So we're not looking, I mean, it's looking suspicious what we're doing anyway, because we're just going through neighborhoods, flashing lights in people's yards. But we'd had a couple, and we weren't really paying attention to how this looked sketchy.
You're trying to protect the community from javelina.
Well, that was the thing. That was, well, you don't want to say javelina. You want to say, "Oh, I saw something going on over here." I don't know what we were going to say. Suffice to say, we didn't have to cross that bridge because it's Bisbee. There's no one out. And then we turn right down on our street, and 3 doors down from our house, there's a vacant house that's up for sale, and there were 11 fucking javelina. It's like rooting around in the flower beds or something. There's no one there, so they can do whatever they want, and they didn't give a fuck. It's an
abandoned home. They claimed it. Squatters' rights.
Well, I think some trash got spilled or something like that, like a couple weeks ago. So there's still like a stink on the ground. So they kind of just all cruised back there, but there were 11. Yeah. So and that was right at midnight. It was really it was a new thing. Pigs at midnight. Dude.
So they're garbage eaters.
They're opportunistic. They'll eat anything. They did.
So is that why nobody is trapping them near the city to eat them?
No,
because they just taste like garbage.
Well, I don't know what they taste like. I haven't eaten one, but they're
somebody's eating
at the end of Black Knob where we live. At the end of the road, that's the where the desert starts. And there's a guy who has a couple of horses out, just a couple hundred yards off the road, and he's got an access gate there. And sometimes we walk the dogs up there, and he lets bow hunters in on their 4-wheelers, and they come in and they're actually looking for deer and javelina. But that's as much that's the only time I've ever seen anyone trying to hunt anything around here.
Well, there's websites dedicated to javelina hunting.
So it's a big thing. I think it's in Texas. There. It's really bad.
Well, I know. I just, if they're trash eaters, they might not taste that good. Because I know bears, if you shoot a bear towards the beginning of the season, the bear season, whenever that is, summer-ish, late summer-ish, the meat will taste better because they've just been eating berries and plants.
Yeah.
And then when you get towards the end of the season, when they've been eating rotten fish off the beach, they do not taste as good.
Or just fish. It doesn't even have to be rot. If they just have a diet full of they basically go for the bellies, don't they? I've seen them. Yeah. They just rip it and then eat 2-3 bites and then toss it back into the water.
Oh yeah, because when it's easy enough to just grab another one, you just want the best parts.
Yeah, that toro, that belly.
Just some muffin tops.
Salmon muffin tops. It's the best part, dude.
Yep.
Well, John, I don't know what happened to Becker, but I assume that I saw that he had already won some money at the gambling casino in gambling casino. It's a new kind. There's a little casino at I think it's the Travel Lodge or the Best Western right in Liberia, where right just near the airport, and they landed there. And the first picture I saw from Becker was a bunch of the funny money all laid out. So he's probably living off his winnings right now, him and Becky.
Yep, I'm sure they're drinking beer on a nice warm beach. I know that because I just saw it on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Well, he's here in spirit, John.
Yeah. We'll make the Scalene happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it feels weird about Becker. Ugh. I'm gonna do it.
I was gonna say I could just edit one in, like a canned one.
Oh. Yeah. Take a cut of Becker.
All right, you've listened to another episode of Near the Wild. I'm Mat Becker, sitting in a bus in Costa Rica.
And I'm John Norris, also in Anchorage, Alaska.
And I'm Ggreg Chaille in Bisbee, Arizona, holding up my end of the Scalene. John, hold your end up.
Holding it.
And I'll hold my end up.
I'm so strong.
That's just a line. It's 2 points. It's just a straight line right now.
I know. We're so much more powerful with our third tripod leg.
Yeah, we need to close the triangle. But we'll do that next week. Thanks for listening, everyone. And don't forget, if you're in the market for a good microphone, go to Shure. Get an SM58.
Yeah. And if you have any cheap boats, Ggreg will buy them.
You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Mat Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska on Mat Becker's backyard bus. Engineered by me, Ggreg Chaille.
Hashtag boat buyer. That's me.